Hi everyone, it's Lisa. Thank you so much for joining me today. In today's video, I'm going to be making some quick and easy cards using some products from scrapbook.com. I'll show you stencils, dies, and ephemera to make some quick cards. I'm going to be working with the scrapbook.com Roses Smooth Cardstock paper pad. This one comes in a rosy palette of pinks, corals, and reds. So you can see all of the different papers in here. There are different sizes, but the one I'm working with is a 6" by 8" paper pad. There are 5 sheets of each color and it has 40 sheets in total. So this pad, just like all of scrapbook.com's paper pads, come in other sizes too, like this Jewels cardstock paper pad and the rainbow glitter paper pad. So the rainbow paper pad is Slimline in size, which measures 3.5 by 8.5, and the Jewels is an A2 size paper pad, which measures 4.25 by 5.5. So all of their scrapbook.com paper pads come in various sizes, just as you see here. And the Roses paper pad that I'm going to be working with today does come in these other size pads. And a perfect ink to go along with the Roses paper pad is the scrapbook.com metallic rose gold ink. This ink pad is brand new to scrapbook.com. It does have a foam pad. It is a pigment ink and it takes a little bit longer to dry, which is perfect for heat embossing. But when it's dry, it is a permanent ink. And with this ink pad, I will be using the scrapbook.com's domed foam applicator to apply the ink. And of course, since I'm using the Roses cardstock, I have to use it with my scrapbook.com Rose Bloom stencil. This is a large stencil that's 6 by 8 in size, so it's perfect for your smaller A2 cards and even your larger 5 by 7 cards. But just look at all of the roses on that stencil. They are so beautiful when inked on some cardstock. So I'm also going to be using Waffle Flowers angled striped panel die. And this panel die is for an A2 size card. I just love using this die to create an ombre look with the scrapbook.com paper pads. This die is also perfect for using your paper scraps. And here's another die, which is another option for creating that ombre look or using your paper scraps. This is the Lawn Fawn Simple Stripes landscape die, and it will cut 5 different pieces of cardstock that you can put in a striped pattern on your card front. So we'll be taking a look at this today as well. I'm also going to be bringing in scrapbook.com's Love Word die, which you see here. And really quick, I just want to show you the new scrapbook.com scissors that come in a 4". This is the 4" here, and they also come in a 5" size. They do have rust-resistant stainless steel blades, and they're perfect for fussy cutting or cutting away at small areas where larger scissors don't fit well. So you can see how the 4" fit in the palm of my hand, and you can see that small blade, perfect for getting in those tiny spaces. And here's where they compare to the 5" size. So you can just see the difference here in the palm of my hand. And you can see that 5" has a straight blade, perfect for some straight cuts. So I want to start out by just showing you this rose gold metallic ink. I'm just putting it there on my foam dome blender, and I wanted to show you how it looks on white versus black cardstock. So here I'm just inking up some white cardstock, but look at that beautiful pink shimmer and shine that that has. And if you compare it to the different colors in this Roses cardstock, it matches up beautifully with the various colors in there. So here I'm just going to add some more ink, and I just want you to see what it looks like here on some black cardstock. So it does show up a little bit lighter, but you can still see that beautiful shimmer and shine on that black cardstock. So scrapbook.com does have a few other metallic inks. This one here is the Metallic Frost, and it is almost like a silvery white color, and I just want to show you what this one looks like here on the black cardstock. Look how pretty that is. It doesn't quite show up good on white, so I don't even put it on the white, but look how pretty that is on the black. There's also a metallic gold, which I don't have, but I will link all of these inks down below in case you're interested. You can also see how that Metallic Frost also shows up nicely on the colored cardstock here. So I just wanted to show you there are other options for the metallic inks. And I previously made a card and made a video using the metallic frost ink. I made this card with the scrapbook.com snowflake stencil, and you can see how those snowflakes show up so beautiful on that black cardstock. And I will link that video down below in case you missed that video. So I'm going to start out by making my first card, and I have a piece of cardstock. It's cut down to 4 5/8 by 6 5/8. And I'm using some of my scrapbook.com mint tape, which is perfect for just adding to the back of your cardstock to keep it down on your glass mat. So I'm going to go ahead and secure that there. And I'm going to bring in my Rose Bloom stencil. You can see this stencil is so large, it's a 6 by 8 size, so it covers over perfectly the top of that cardstock. I am just going to tape down the sides to my glass mat. And then I'm going to use my foam dome applicator, and I'm going to apply the rose gold metallic ink to it, and then just add this to the stencil. And when this is finished, it's going to be a beautiful rose pattern in this beautiful metallic rose gold ink. So using stencils and ink is one way of making quick and easy cards, and then you can just put on a sentiment and be done with your card. And you can decide how dark or how light you want your ink to appear. If you want a darker look, just apply more ink over to the top of your stencil. Okay, so here is what it's going to look like once you remove the stencil, and look how beautiful that is. So now I'm just going to take out my Roses cardstock paper pad, and I'm going to flip through the various colors of paper and compare it to my stenciled cardstock, and you can see how a lot of these colors in this paper pad match that metallic rose gold ink pad perfectly. So here is the piece that I decided I'm going to use with my card. I'm also bringing in a piece of black cardstock. I think the black cardstock will really make those roses pop. So the pink cardstock, or that coral cardstock, it's 5 by 7 in size. The black cardstock is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and again my stenciled background is 4 5/8 by 6 5/8. So I'm just layering all of those papers together, and you can see how that black paper, just a little bit of that black showing on the edges, just makes those roses pop. So I also am going to take 2 strips of cardstock. I have one in the same coral color as the cardstock I chose. That strip is 4 1/2 inches by 1 inch, and the white strip is 4 inches by 1 inch. I'm just going to layer those there off to the right side of that card front. Next, I'm going to bring in some black cardstock, and I'm going to add a scrapbook.com adhesive sheet. It's just going to turn this cardstock into a sticker, and I'm going to use the Love die and run this through my die cutting machine, so that once that comes out of the die cut machine, this entire die cut is a sticker. So I don't have to worry about putting glue on those very thin lines to the word love. So I can just peel back the backing of the word love and then stick it down to the front of my card. I also took that same word die and I die cut the same color cardstock to insert the LOVE inside that black outline. Now you can use any sentiment that you want for the front of this card, whether it be a word die or a stamped sentiment. That is simply up to you, because remember that roses background that we created with the stencil, that's the star of the show. So if you just want to slap on any type of sentiment to the front of this, it would look absolutely gorgeous. So here I'm just adding in the center of the O, add that back in black. And now I'm going to be bringing in my scrapbook.com pops of color in the silver color. It is a silver glitter, and they haven't been used before, so I'm taking out this little red insert piece out of the inside, and that's just garbage. And now I can just squeeze out the pops of color, and I'm adding them to the centers of all of these roses. I just love the pops of color because it not only adds dimension to your card, because when it dries, it will dry hard, And it will also have a beautiful glittery finish to the center of all of those flowers. So here is my completed card. Now I am going to be making some other cards, and I am going to be using the Roses cardstock in addition to the Waffle Flower angled stripe panel die. And I'm going to use this die to make an ombre look with the Roses cardstock on the front of my card. So first I took the die cut it out of some white cardstock. It gives me the background that you saw there. Then I'm going to take one of each of the colors of cardstock from this paper pad, and I'm going to die cut it with that same background die. Next, I'm going to attach the white background panel piece to a white A2 size card base. So this die cuts out an A2 size card front. I'm just going to attach it there to my A2 size card base. That's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now the die also comes in a slimline size, so if you wanted to do a slimline card, this die has an identical one in a slimline size, which I'll also link down in the description box. But if you do decide to use the slimline background die, you will need to get the slimline size paper pad rather than the 6 by 8 paper pad like I'm using. So for each of the different color of cardstock sheets, I die cut that panel die out, and it gives me the frame as well as the inside pieces. So I'm just taking a piece of the brand new 4-inch scrapbook.com mint tape, and I'm going to use that tape to keep the pieces together. So I have my die cutting plate, and I just put that mint tape right over top of the cardstock pieces on the die cutting plate, and then I just picked it up with that. So now I have all of those pieces for that color pink together on this piece of tape, and it's not going to ruin the cardstock because the mint tape is not that tacky, so it's very easy to peel off your cardstock sheets off of there. So here I'm going to do it again with the next color. So I go ahead and run that through my die cutting machine. Once it comes out of the die cutting machine, I'm just going to pop those diagonal pieces right back onto the plate, and then I'll be able to put my mint tape directly over top of those diagonal pieces and grab them in order off of that plate. And you can do this with all of the color cardstock that you choose to use to create your ombre look on this card front. And once all your diagonal pieces are die cut out, you can go ahead and pop them back in, going from lightest to darkest, darkest to lightest, however you want to add those back in there. And once your background is done, just pop a sentiment on the front and you have a very simple yet beautiful card. So you actually have all of the rest of the die cut pieces that you can technically make several more cards with by just die cutting out another piece of white for the frame. So this time I'm going to just add some die cut pieces, and this would look perfect with the Doodlebug Love Notes Ephemera, which is what I'm using here. This heart is from that Ephemera pack, and I'm just adding it to the front of this card. So now not only do I have this beautiful ombre background, but now I have this beautiful floral heart, and then I can add the sentiment right inside. So here I'm just using the outline of the sentiment that I used for the first card when I used the inside pieces. So I'm going to use that outline here, and then I'm going to use the black pieces from the first card as well, and just pop those right inside. So here are some cards that I created, and don't forget that you still have all of the frames from all of the inside pieces that you used. So you can technically make 8 more cards with these frames. So that's what I go ahead and do. I just take one of each of the 8 frames and add it to an A2 size card base, which gives me these 8 card bases with these beautiful panels on them. So I just decorate a few more here on screen, but you can see how I just use some of the Love Notes Doodlebug Ephemera to add to this card. And you can also bring in some puffy stickers and just add some puffy stickers as your sentiment. These puffy stickers are the scrapbook.com Pink Fresh Studio 6x8 puffy stickers. And you can see all the pretty ombre colors that they come in. So I'm just going to glue this ephemera down, and I'm also going to be bringing in the pops of color in that silver color, and I'm just going to add it to the silver color of the globe, and that's just going to give it some more dimension as well as some pretty glitter. So you can see all the dimension and glitter in that globe, and now I'm just going to come in with this double heart ephemera piece from the Love Notes ephemera, pop that in the center of the globe, so now I have even more dimension on that card. So here's another one that I'm going to go ahead and make with some more of the floral ephemera from the Love Notes Doodlebug collection, and then I'll go ahead and just add that love die right to the middle. So you can see how this die works perfectly by just letting you add some ephemera pieces to create a pretty card. You don't need to worry about any of the pattern paper to cut down and add to the card front. You have that beautiful panel die. So here I'm taking the pops of color and adding it to all of the keys on this typewriter just to give this some more dimension. And here I'm going to drag across to add to the space bar. Isn't that cute? Just look at all of that glitter and dimension on that typewriter. So here's another card. I just went ahead and added some puffy stickers to the word enjoy, and I'm just going to add one little single cupcake to the center with some foam behind it. So I want to show you another option of creating an ombre background or using your scraps to create a background for your card. This is the Lawn Fawn Simple Stripes background die. You can get 5 strips of paper with this die, and I also want you to notice that it has stitching all around, and there will be no white spaces between each strip like there was in the previous die. And this die also comes in diagonal. So I'm just going to make a quick background with this so you can see what it looks like. These are the scraps from the previous background that I did. I'm just layering them up on that die. I'm just going to tape them down so that I can run this through my die cut machine. And once that comes out of my die cut machine, I'll get all of the strips here that you see. I'm just going to glue them on an A2 size card front. So they're the perfect size. They go from corner to corner, and you can also see that they have the stitching all around. So when you see this up close, which you'll see here in a minute, you'll see the stitching on the top and sides of that card. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue all of these down on this card front. And you can see that nice background that it makes for your card. And I'm just going to put some ephemera pieces on here. This ephemera piece is a bouquet of flowers, and it says love you on there, so it doesn't even need a sentiment. And then I'm just going to add some of the silver pops of color and add those to the center of the flowers. And that completes that card. Very simple. So I want to thank you all for joining me today and hope that that gave you some good inspiration in your card making. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel for more card making inspiration. Have a great day. Bye-bye.